but his Blanca is nothing to be slept on. However, though, Justin Wong, as I was saying earlier, people like to press buttons on that Blanca Oki with the lightning, but Justin not doing so. If Vic can take out Chun here, we got
him.
We have a match.
Yeah, we do have a match. His life is probably going to go between the A and the N of his name. So, and that's just enough. That's going to be just enough to getting, okay, yeah, a little less than that. Okay, less forgiving. But he's going to be able to get, oh, what a jump in.
Oh my God, tournament point for Justin and a great round start for him.
He smells the blood in the water. It's obvious, sir.
Blanca, though, no slouch. This is far from over. And especially since that is blocked, no punish.
Yeah, he's not able to chase the Tiger Ray. He's able to escape the side switch. Low, fierce.
He wants to do it before his meter runs out, and that's it. Justin Wong is going to be your defending North CVS2 champion.
I just want to say 3 things very quickly. First of all, it's a very long interview, so if you don't have time, there are timestamps below in the description and in the pinned comment for cell phone users. Use them to get to the questions that you're most interested in. The second thing I wanted to say is there are podcast options, so you can listen to this stuff on the go. I'll be adding more and more podcast options again in the description and the pinned comment. Third thing I want to say is a big thank you to Draco, my cameraman, who was set up by Andy at DTN. It's a rarity for me, and we had some fantastic equipment. Actually, and the last thing I wanted to say is just a big thank you to my Twitch subs and my patrons. You guys are the ones who are actually making it possible for me to do this. Anyway, enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's BornFree here. I'm here with Justin Wong.
What is up, man? How you guys doing?
Oh, good. Now content creator, of course.
Influencer.
Pushing out tier lists.
I'm pushing a lot of things. I mean, I think my tier lists are just things that people need to know and understand.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, they're actual facts, not opinion.
It's important, yeah. Especially the pre-Game of Thrones tier list was my favorite one because there was a tip for those of you who don't know. Look it up. Actually, don't. But
I was kind of spot on some of them, though.
You think so?
Daenerys?
I mean, come on, that's very super easy.
Like, I never watched the show before, and she was just instant S.
You didn't know about Daenerys? You hadn't heard anything about Daenerys? You'd never seen anything? Nothing.
I've never seen anything. I didn't even have HBO. Literally, I started watching Game of Thrones after posting that tier list because everyone would start going crazy.
You didn't see memes? You didn't see anything with Daenerys in it?
No.
Okay.
I saw dragons, but they've grown up. But I never seen characters that did anything.
Okay, fine, whatever. All right, well then on that, how did you feel about the final season?
It sucks.
Yeah, it does. All right, good. We agree. We agreed on that one. I'm glad that I don't want to get into it. Like the plot points were hit. Like there was some foreshadowing for sure, but like the characterization was appalling. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Because I want to talk to you about a whole bunch of stuff. Yesterday I bumped into you, right?
Yeah.
And one of the conversations that we got into was about crossover games, right? I can't even remember why. Oh, I asked you like, how dope would it be if we had CVS3? Like, how would you feel about that?
Oh, I would love it. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite things is to see crossover titles. Like, I want to see characters taken out of like their own developer element to a different developer to see how can they design the character to make it kind of organic feeling. Like when people had Ryu in Smash Brothers, right? Like 4, he was so sick. Like they even gave him like the execution thing where like, okay, like usually if you play Smash, it's like you press B is like fireball, up B is Shoryuken. Yeah. But you can actually do the actual motion.
Yes.
You do the actual motion, you get the true fireball, true Shoryuken, and it does more damage.
Right.
So like stuff like that, it's like they did a really good job. Same thing with Akuma and Tekken 7. That was an amazing design. I feel like Namco did kind of like a better job with Akuma versus a lot of Capcom Akuma titles. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, they actually, I mean, basically, he was pretty much Street Fighter 4 Akuma. Like, so if you had just come off the back of Street Fighter 4, because I remember playing it early doors, like at San Diego Comic Con, very early. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember I could still play Street Fighter 4 Akuma at that time, and I was doing focus.
Yeah, focus back dash.
Yeah.
So you got the standing roundhouse. But I think what's cool is that because Tekken's known for like having 100 moves per character, they gave Akuma like 80 something moves.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? Like you want to see these new unique actions to see what can he do. And like the juggles, like if you watch like the Kuma Kama video or like a top player like Super Kuma from France, he's so sick with Akuma. It actually like it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I'd like to interview him at some point for sure. Now, a lot of the Tekken players, they don't like the cross. They don't like that because it's a legacy title. So what you're saying is you love like the crossover titles because they bring that, because they bring characters with mechanics that might not necessarily, fit in the game.
Well, it's that. It's just a really cool. Like you have Negan from Walking Dead in Tekken. That come on, like you can't complain about that.
I keep thinking. I already said that maybe. I keep wondering if like there'll be like a Game of Thrones character like.
That would be pretty
year.
cool, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I could see like they isn't like a Terminator. Terminator was in. I saw him come out E3 for like a Gears of War DLC character.
Yeah, and
That's pretty cool.
there's a rumor that he might be in
Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
So like stuff like that, I think is always amazing. Yeah, I know people do complain about like, oh, like this character is not like for the OGs and everything, but I mean, when you think about like fighting games and the company trying to make money, they have to appeal to all these casual audiences. They have to appeal to the people that are fans of these characters to maybe buy their game to try out just that one character that they will ever play. Because they're not going to be like Kazuya, Jin, like a random person, like, oh yeah, I want to play Kazuya and Jin, even if I don't know who they are. But they see like Negan from Walking Dead because they watch it all the time in every season. They're like, yo, he was so sick as a bad guy in that show. I want to play him. I want to use the bat and swing.
Right. From a marketing perspective, Tekken are doing a wonderful job at bringing people from other games into their game. Like, Akuma brought me into Tekken, like, I just started playing Akuma. I was just like, this is dope.
Yeah.
And I can play him as I want to play him. I'm not even playing Tekken, really. I'm just playing what I want to play. Eventually, I'll get my, somebody's going to beat the hell out of me because, like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I need to learn. But, like, from a marketing perspective, that makes sense. And Negan was just kind of like, I don't know if anything will be that this year. That was just wild and insane.
It was great. It's
interesting that you, as a player who's played so many games over so many years, like, there's sort of like the meme. I remember Combo Fiend talking about functions, and like even though like it's a meme, it's true in a way. Like there's a bunch of hitboxes and there's a bunch of frame data, right? And to me, like when I look at someone like you who's played all of these games, I wonder whether over time you're just like, it's all the fucking same shit, It's all just hitboxes and frame data. But what you're telling me is like you really actually, even at your level, you care about like, hey, there's this character and he's really cool and I want to play him and he has a backstory, and that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, even though like I'm a professional gamer, I started from as a gamer as hard, casual gamer as hard. So like, even when I'm like growing up, like especially going to the arcade, and I see like Marvel vs. Capcom, right? And I see like, okay, I used to play Street Fighter for Ryu and Ken, and then they're involved with like the X-Men. The X-Men, everyone grew up. Like if you're born in the 80s, 90s, you're watching the X-Men animated cartoon, right? Yeah. You're watching that dope theme song. You're watching the whole series. Even if it's a rerun, you're gonna be watching it. And when you see them in a fighting game, you're able to control Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Magneto. Like, that's probably one of the most fanboy moments of anybody that is a fan of these characters that they grew up watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, even if, like I said, I've been playing for, like, over 20 years now, just, like, in just gaming, right? Just tournaments. But when I see, like, dope reveals like that, it's just amazing to me. Just because I'm like, I want to try that character out. Even if I don't even play the game, like, I'll still buy it just to try them out because I want to see how they feel.
Yeah, it's funny because like there was a period of time, I feel like there was a period of time where people were so focused on frame data and hitboxes that I was like, damn, there's some magic missing here. But like when that functions conversation came up, and I'm not, like I understood where he was coming, I understood where Combo Fiend was coming from at that point because he was actually trying to help, I think, in regards to the limitations he had in that game, right? It just became a bit of a meme, but like it was interesting. It was an interesting conversation because so many people thought that they were experts by talking about like frame data and hitboxes, and I was like, is that what you want? Do you just want a bunch of fucking hitboxes and frame data? Because to me, like everyone dunks on story mode and like arcade mode and this and that and the other. I'm like, all of these elements add personality.
Yes.
Like when you pick your character, like SamSho is a good example. Like I've been picking that Yoshitora.
That's the most part. That's the flavor of the month. Yoshitora.
Is he? I don't know. He has red hair. That's why I picked him. He has red hair and a bunch of fucking swords.
Well, he's swag.
He's swag, right? I love the swag.
swag.
I love the swag characters, but I can't swag. But like, I love him.
Yeah.
You know, like he has the.
He actually has combos.
That's true.
Everyone
yeah.
else doesn't really have combos, so he's like one of the only characters that actually has cool combos. And then you unlock the 7th sword. You want to unlock the 7th sword, get that tidal wave going on, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, everyone loves picking him. Like everyone likes cool characters in any like game they want to play.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own particular thing, right? You know, like Itazan, I remember he comes to mind. Like he's a guy who, you know, likes big characters. He said that to me. He likes big characters and he likes gambles. Like everyone has their thing. You know, I like characters with a lot of options. So, and red hair. That's all right, my thing. But let's talk a little bit about SamSho then, because like you're the reigning CEO champion right now. This is actually Saturday, guys. I should have mentioned that at Defend the North. But you just finished up. How are you doing at the moment?
I'm in top 16 winners right now.
Top 16 winners. And who are you playing?
Tam right now.
You gone back to Tam? Did you play Charlotte for a bit or no?
So like CEO, I won with Tam.
Right.
And then the Pinnacle, I won with Ukyo. And
Oh,
then,
you did?
Yeah, and then Toryuken, I used Charlotte.
And Toryuken, how'd you do at Toryuken?
I won.
You
all
won 3 tournaments?
Yeah. I won
wow.
3 of the major tournaments. That's why I got number 1 seed at EVO, because like it was consistent.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were number 1 seed at EVO.
Yeah,
That's
I was number 1
incredible. Isn't that wild? Did you think that was going to happen when SamSho came out?
Well, I just playing it at like Combo Breaker just for fun.
Yeah.
I really like the game just because it's more slow paced. It's more like towards the OG feels, and you know, obviously me as an old person who plays all these old games that does more defensive play instead of like I would say today's modern game where it's more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I really like this game a lot.
All right, cool. So talking of getting old, just before I was thinking about this the other day. In fighting games, like in a lot of other esports, like people are done by the age of like 22. And in fighting games, they're not, right? They're like, they just keep going.
People
and
still
going
in their 40s competing.
Right.
Like
so,
Vi is 41 now, I think.
Right,
and
and of course Sako.
Sako.
You know, there are people out there. What I wanted to ask you is, there are different elements to fighting games. Do you feel any difference between now and like when, let's say, you were 20?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like my reactions are not as fast anymore, even though they're still pretty fast. But I would say like when I'm watching old matches of myself, I'm just like, damn, I reacted to that, right? I was surprised, right? And then, or like, I would say my execution was better back when I was younger.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah, because there's sometimes I'm like, man, I swagged out like that. I was really surprised, right? Usually I'm very like non-optimal.
Yeah.
That's what people know me for as like current generation. But like back in the day, like I was very optimal actually. So it was pretty interesting to see, watching video of myself when I was like 2003, 2004, 2006, like stuff like that. It's like, damn, I didn't know I was actually playing like this versus like now, where it's kind of more like not. It's kind of more lazy actually. I feel like I've been more lazy in my gameplay, even though like I still do kind of well.
Well, you also got a lot of other stuff going on, which we'll get onto when you're a father and all that sort of stuff.
But yeah, that's
right?
why. Because when I was growing up, when you were a kid or a teenager, you got no worries.
Right.
So I'm able to focus more on just playing nonstop. Like there's
but
times
you
where,
also had to win to make money.
Sure.
That was the only way.
Well, that
right?
and go to work. I used to work at Circuit City and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then there's also times where I'm like, I go to somebody's house for a session and we're there for like 24 hours just playing nonstop.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I was playing Marvel 2. Like one time we had a 24-hour session in Marvel 2.
You did?
And we didn't even notice that. Like it
was that with Sanford and Yipes?
Sanford and Yipes, yeah. We just kept going at each other.
Was that at Empire Arcadia or?
It was at like our friend's Lawrence's house, like
okay.
like uptown, like 241st Street. We were just stuck there playing.
I was gonna ask Yipes, but I can also ask you. Like at that time, like were you three just untouchable? Because you were like the 3 gods of Marvel 2, right?
Yeah, so we were like the 3 gods of Marvel 2. The only thing was like when it was time for like EVO, for example, there would be hiccups from their side because they're not used to it. Like, because ultimately, like, I'll go to like the Midwest tournaments, I'll go to the West Coast tournaments, and because there was no sponsorship back in the day, like anytime I won a tournament, I would save that money to use it for my next trip.
Okay.
You know, so like since there wasn't that many tournaments in the East Coast, like it would be really hard for them to kind of make it out. Like, so they'll just save up for like maybe like 2 tournaments a year, right? Because there was no combo breaker, there was no CEO.
Yeah.
Right. There was final round, like Big E tournaments, and the break 8 on the break tournaments, and then EVO. So there wasn't that many tournaments. But then I also get a lot of like invitations to get flown out to like Australia, Mexico,
Now
South
or
America.
then?
Both, even now. But back
Okay.
then too.
Back then
Yeah,
too.
when I was like 16 years old, I went to Australia.
Really?
It was crazy. Like I was really surprised. I was like, yeah, because I'm like, that's a dream come true, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like you can't. It's really hard for people to even now to travel like where all they want. I'm just very blessed
Yeah.
to get these opportunities.
Well, not blessed. I mean, blessed maybe, but like you worked for it. You put yourself. You did something that I think is very brave, right? Which is to like focus on something that at that time
That's what
there was nothing going on.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying. It was. I feel like because gaming became so popular, that's a blessing. Because
okay.
you know, growing up, if you're growing up in the 80s, you're like,
Yeah.
gaming is fun, and all your parents like,
Yeah, you just think it's fun.
all your parents like, don't go to the arcade, it's bad for you. There's bad people there, or don't waste your time staring at the screen. You know, stuff like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then now everyone's like, yeah, I mean, I would love to have my kid game, like, or you give them a tablet, an iPad, right, to play some games on the tablet, like Minecraft. Now that's a thing to entertain kids if you don't want to entertain your kids like as a like a social interaction. So it's pretty interesting now. Everyone plays games, even old people. They could play Candy Crush. They're a gamer.
No, I know. And then my mum was playing the brain games.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how they're positioned, that's how they're marketed, and they probably do work. I'm sure they do keep you pretty sharp.
Yeah.
But yeah, games are like prevalent, man. They're like everywhere, and even people like joke about like not being a gamer, but it's right on their phone.
Yeah. If you have a gaming app on your phone, you're definitely a gamer, no matter what.
It's happening,
Yeah.
and like there's a gamification of a lot of different things. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about your move into content, right? Because that's been pretty obvious, right? You know, you're pushing out videos like pretty often. It looks like maybe you have people who help you because I'm a content creator and I know how much work goes into those things. And if you're doing all that yourself, I don't know when you sleep.
No, I definitely don't edit all the time, but
Right.
I do hire like editors that I met through Twitter, and we
Yeah.
have a good relationship.
Yeah.
So I have like 2 editors that like I'll just like give jobs to if I don't have time at all,
Yeah, you'll just like film it and
Yeah.
like send it to them.
and I'll tell them what I want, and then
Yeah.
watch it, and then tell them like to add stuff and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's definitely very helpful because I do think like since like last year that I think content creation like for content creators in general are like definitely the new wave.
Yeah, you were saying this. So talk to me a little bit about that, like the new wave. Because like, so for instance, I will say straight off the bat, streaming is extraordinary.
Yes.
Because like, you think about people like Aris, who's like, why would I go anywhere when I can make this, I can make 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, I don't know how, 10 times as much money in 3 days than I can going to Amsterdam or whatever. And that's just Aris. Like there's
Like Maximilian.
Maximilian,
Yeah.
right? That's just wild.
Yeah, but I would say the only problem with that is that when you do get that big, you actually become a prisoner.
Yeah, you do.
You actually can't go out anymore. Like
good.
even if you want to go out, you can't go out because if you go out and you don't stream for 1 or 2 days a weekend, then people watching you, oh word, your Netflix got canceled or something, like because you are their Netflix. They will unsubscribe.
I know.
Everyone will bounce. Like
I
you will
know.
just come back and like, oh, I lost
I know.
200 subscribers, 300 subscribers, right?
It's pretty, yeah. You
So
actually,
you're stuck. You're chained. That's why look at Flo. He's just chained at home, just streaming
Right.
all the time.
Right. You actually hit the nail on the head there because, you know, I've been messing around with all types of content and all of it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
YouTube has to be consistent, otherwise the algorithm just screws you. They're just like, oh, you didn't put a video out for 2 days? Okay, we're going to show your next one to 2 people.
Yeah.
You know? How are you approaching content?
So I would say it's gradually growing. So like I went from like nothing to like 44K, right? Probably like in 8 months.
On YouTube, right?
On YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to just throw out YouTube videos because, you know, people want to see more content from like, let's say, top players, right? Usually you don't get that because everyone's traveling so much or everyone like doesn't want to do it. Even like when they stream, it's like kind of lackluster, right? Not many people watch like fighting game streams
Yeah.
in general. But I would say the reason why I like, that's like one thing I like, right, for people to know that I'm doing YouTube. The second one is actually like I've been getting so many more opportunities, more events, more product sponsorship videos because of that. Because like, oh, word, like you do videos too besides being like Justin Wong and just only posting on Twitter and Instagram. We want to just pay you to make a video for us, or we want you to do more content for this like game. And then like, hey, you know, stuff like that. So because of me doing YouTube, it's actually been profitable, not from YouTube, but because of the opportunities I get from just random companies that DM me.
Right.
So it's been working out pretty good. And also like it's growing. A lot of people that come up to me at tournaments, they're like, hey man, I watched your tutorial, I loved it, it really helped me, stuff like that. So stuff like that really makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because,
I bet.
Yeah, because like I would say the people in the FGC watch my videos, but trying to get to videos to like the casual people that don't know anything about the FGC.
Yeah.
That they just buy the game at like, you know, GameStop or their local game store or Amazon or whatever, and they're like, yeah, I mean, let me just YouTube something and try to learn. And then other videos will pop up in the same ones, but it's more from the popular guys, right? Like let's say Maximilian or like the JMC Croft, like those type of guys, they will get the hits before I would get the hits. So trying to reach out to them is my main goal, but it's a grind. It
And
really
you know
comes to
about,
grind.
it's funny, you know about Cross. I love John. Shout outs to John. He blew up like around Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He does great videos.
Yeah, he does great videos. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of Samurai Shodown ones. So I've been watching some of it.
Oh, you've been watching it?
Well,
John, check it out, man.
I've been watching your videos, you know. It's because I'm taking SamSho really serious. I want to win EVO for it, right? So I've been watching this every stream. And like I just download like YouTube videos all the time, just like because I just have YouTube Red.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna watch them on the plane.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I remember he joked with me about like overtaking me, like, but he was like moving slowly, and it was like a small joke between us for a moment, and then Dragon Ball came out, and he had this one video which just it was like he called it like secrets or something, like the secrets that are not in the tutorial.
Yeah. He did that for Samurai Shodown too.
Oh, he did.
It showed up on my feed.
The formula works. The formula works. But shout out to John, because he's like a really nice guy, and he has a really good way of making videos, making the complex sound more understandable, like simple. So I think there's a lot to learn there. So you're moving into content. You are not on a sponsored team. So what's your thoughts on that? Because you've been on and off sponsored teams. Now it seems like you're sort of like going what some people are calling the Daigo route, which is sort of collecting sponsors.
The solo route.
Yeah, the solo route.
Yeah.
Or route. Sorry, route. I'm English. I gotta say route. Otherwise people will give me shit.
I used to be on EVO Geniuses, and then I got on Echo Fox, and I left, and it was pretty hard, like just thinking about it, because a lot of my friends always told me, yeah, you don't need a team, you can always just do this, right? Like be your own brand, be your own sponsor, and get all these companies do it. I was really scared. Like the way I play fighting games is the way I act in real life. Mad lame, defensive type of stuff. So this was like a really big risk. It was really uncharacteristic of me to just move out and do my own thing. But what really helped was that because I go to like different events outside of fighting game events like PAX, E3, and I'm meeting all these people that are like the marketing managers for these companies, and like I like after parties, and then they like know of me. They introduce themselves to me and give me their card, and they're like, hey man, like if you ever want to do something, like reach out to us and stuff like that. So that gave me the thing where like I had so many like contacts already, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna not re-sign with Echo Fox, and I'm gonna start reaching out to these companies.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work in 2 months, I already had another team to wanting to pick me up.
I bet.
Because I can easily get on another team, right? That's just something.
Like me, I can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kidding.
I mean, you're going to EVO. You know what I mean? You're going to EVO.
I'm going to EVO.
People love you.
Stop it. I wanted to ask you about all the traveling actually and fatherhood, because you're a father. So let's talk about that first. Like, what does that feel like? How did that change you? Like, what comes to mind when I say to you, you're a father?
It's great. So Harper's 5.5 months now, and what really I did change. I could tell that I changed because a lot of my friends were not like they're not like as happy compared to before I was a father, because there's a lot of times where like everyone wants to go out, they want to go to a bar, they want to go like, you know, roam around the city at night, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go back to my hotel room, get some rest, you know, FaceTime my wife and daughter, and call it a day. But also the mindset of like, yeah, I don't think you should do this. Like I became more strict. I'm like, yeah, you should focus on this. You should do this. You should not do that. I'm
on
actually
yourself?
No, on them.
On them?
Yeah, so I'm like
on your friends?
Yeah, I'm telling them like, no, this is bad. This is a bad idea. Like you shouldn't do that. Instead of like, yeah, run it. You know, like I'm just telling them like, don't do this.
Yeah.
And I'll start like sometimes like, why would you do that? Like that's really dumb. Like, and I start maybe sometimes raising my voice. So yeah, I would say I changed on that regard because I'm focusing more on like being an actual father for in the future for Harper when she does something like, oh, I have a crush on a boy. I'm like, no, you cannot have a crush on her. She can't date until she's 21. I already told my wife that, but we'll see how that happens.
Yeah, we'll see
I know how boys work. I was one of them. You know what I mean? I know how the game works, so yeah, we gotta prevent that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens because it can, you know, like, listen, your own story was you were told not to go to the arcade, and where did you end up?
Well, I mean, it kind of worked out in the end.
It worked out in the end, but I'm just saying, like you can tell her everything you want to tell her, but like whatever. We'll deal with that when it comes along, right?
That's true.
Do you foresee? Do you still enjoy traveling? Like, sounds like you are still traveling quite a lot. How does that fit into the fatherhood bit? Just, you know, like, are you like, I'm gonna travel as much as I can, I'm gonna make as much money as I can? I just, you know, where's your head at with that? So I would say, if people have noticed my schedule, I haven't gone to any international event this year. Right, okay.
So I'm only going to international events if it's like a gig or a work event, but if it's for a tournament, I would not go.
Okay.
Right. So I told my family that I'm only gonna do domestic travels because it's only like 2 to 3 days max.
Yeah.
If you do international travel, it kind of increases to 4 to 5. Then jet lag becomes a thing, so it might be 6.
Right.
You know, depending on even how far it is, it might be a week, and that's just way too long to not be like in proper contact with my family because of the different time zones.
Because your parents are also there, right, in Vegas?
Yeah, they're in Vegas.
Yeah, because you bought them a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hooked them up. Now they can't talk shit about me. When I you know what I mean? They talk shit about in the beginning, but now they can't talk shit.
God.
But yeah, so like I've been doing a lot more work events. So I've been doing like more commentary for like the U.S. Army for the Street Fighter 5 events.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot more gigs for like mobile game companies like Gung Ho when I went to Anime Expo for the Teppen launch. So a lot more like opportunities where it's like, yeah, like you come here and do like work stuff to get paid. Those are the more events I'm doing because I want to raise the money up for Harper's college fund or paying for diapers. You know, obviously having a baby is pretty expensive in general.
But travel is definitely part of it. It has to be part of it.
It has to be part of it unless like I'm, you know, like paid to do like just content creating for just videos.
Yeah, sure.
Right, then I can stay home and everything. But usually 2 weeks I'm in Vancouver and the other 2 weeks I'm in Vegas.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of like my schedule.
Okay. Why are you in Vancouver?
That's where my wife lives. My wife and daughter lives. They're Canadian.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they were with you in Vegas.
Oh, no.
Oh, so you got the parents in Vegas and you got the wife and daughter in Vancouver.
Yeah,
so you two and two.
Yeah, so I'm eventually going to move to Vancouver.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, become a Canadian citizen because we want to have a second child. Right? And when we have a second child, we want to make sure they're like close to age.
Yeah.
So they could be like best friends, right? Because if you're like 14 and then you have a 10-year-old like sibling, you're not trying to hang out with a 10-year-old.
No.
Right?
No. I have siblings of all ages.
Yeah, you're too cool, right? A 14-year-old's too cool.
Well, it's just you don't relate.
Yeah.
It's really hard to relate. Like if you have somebody who's like 1 or 2 years your age, you fight, you do things, you're interested in the same things. It's just that's the way it is. You hang out, you get irritated by each other, but you also love each other.
Yeah.
But you know, I have siblings who are 10 years younger than me, and no, even further, like 15 years younger than me, and the relationship is completely different.
It's different, yeah.
It's
more
just
like a hi, bye, give a hug, how's the family, and then...
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, when they're a baby, and you're like 15, like, it's just like, it's not the same thing as like my brother, who's like 2 years younger than me, and is just constantly ripping on me and sending me stupid texts.
Yeah.
You keep sending me that stupid, the aging app.
Okay. Oh, were the
That's like
people going older?
that's his favorite thing to do right now is find every single photo he can of me and just age me, and just be like, look at you, you look like such a like, whatever.
Actually, someone did that to me, and I was like, wow, I actually look like my grandma when I get older. but my grandma's like my inspiration, so I'm cool with that. Like she was the reason why I understand what working hard means.
Right.
So it's great that I'm able to look like her. Even when online people are like, he looks like an Asian grandma. And I'm like, I'm down to look like an Asian grandma. That's completely fine because she's my inspiration.
Exactly. I'm told I look like my dad, actually, which is interesting. Because he actually has brown hair. So people always used to look at me and be like, what the fuck? Why don't your parents have red hair? And I'm just like, that's not how it works. But with the grey hair, I kind of look like him, which is kind of freaky. It's freaking me out a little bit.
I mean, they got hair dye.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Liz, something I should have said right at the beginning is, how does it feel for you as somebody who grew up in New York to be here at a major that's in Manhattan?
So I've been having such a fun time coming back to New York. So after Toronto Tour Weekend last week, instead of flying back to Vegas, I just flew straight to New York. So I've been here since Monday, and I haven't seen people for like over 4 years in terms of like my school friends, people I used to like hang out with all the time, and we were catching up because I probably haven't seen them in general for like 10 years. So a lot can change in 10 years, and yeah, I mean I've been having a blast hanging out with like just people that I grew up with, and then now DTN's here, and it's great. Because there's never been a tournament in New York City. There's been tournaments in Brooklyn, like for ESL, the Barclays, but that's Brooklyn still, right?
Yeah.
There's in Queens for the original DTNs, White Plains, stuff like that. But New York City at 33rd Street Penn Station at the New Yorker Hotel, where you can literally just do whatever you want after the tournament. You go to Times Square, you go down to LES, Chinatown. Like, it's just amazing because the things you could do in New York City in general is endless, right? It's the city that never sleeps.
This is why I wish it was a premiere, and
it should be a premiere.
It should
for
be
sure.
a premiere. Like, damn, man! Like having a premiere spot in New York City, like it's not just about like the players, because the players will go anywhere.
Yes.
But like having a spot in New York City, when you're thinking about if you're just a casual, and you're somebody who's kind of interested, even if you walk past, you will see Ryu outside, a big poster of Ryu,
oh, yeah, the big
poster
banner,
of
and
Mario, right? Like, people in New York, they don't care. They'll walk in. They'll go check it out. Like it's like, it's part of it. Part of the marketing, I think, is location, and part of the opportunity to bring in people who just want to come and have fun for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, that's
is
true.
They come to New York, stay here, be at the tournament, and then go do all the things that they want to do. Whereas, like, when you're in a hotel next to an airport, like, no one's going to do that.
No one's going to come anyway.
No, players come.
Players come, but
and then once they get knocked
casuals.
out, yeah, like players come, and then when they get knocked out, Sunday is the quietest day you've ever. Like DTN normally is like Sunday is so quiet because all the players are like, all right, well, I'm out, so see you later.
Yeah, because like usually when I'm at EVO, like all my interactions comes from like fans, right?
Right.
But
right.
Here at DTN, literally it's like I've been getting like maybe over like 200 people come up to me the last like 2 days.
Wow.
To be like, hey man, like I'm such a huge fan. This is my first major. I'm coming here just to see. And I'm like, I have never seen you at Next Level Battle Circuit or at Bum's house.
Yeah.
I have never seen you like in a New York local.
Yeah, I don't know you as a player.
Right? So then they're like, yeah, I mean, I don't really go out. I'm like a casual player. I'm an online player at home. I just play casually.
Yeah.
But because it was Defender North in the city, they all came out. That's why Andy was saying the tickets capped. They sold out all their spectator passes and everything. Yeah. So it's just really like location is key because that will bring actual more gamers in general that would never travel to like a random hotel next to the airport,
right?
Because they're like, yeah, I mean, we could just take down the train. Like you have the ACE 123 NRQW right here, walking distance. It's
right,
awesome.
but we need like the Capcoms, the Namcos, the SNKs of this world, to the Dragon Ball, like whatever, right? We need these in order to make it work. It needs to be premiere. I'm just going to use that word. For all of those tournaments, it needs to be like, that's the only way it's going to work, because as a ranking event, I don't see them. I think it's going to be a little tougher.
Yeah, if it's a ranking, but even
because
then,
the players, because also you also need the top players to come in as
for
well.
sure. But even then, the numbers are huge.
Even then, the numbers are
Like
huge. Yeah.
Street Fighter, I think it was like 200 something entrants.
Yeah.
That's like for a ranking event. That's a
For a ranking event,
that's actually premier numbers.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right?
Right,
When you think
right.
about other premieres around the world,
Yeah.
they don't even get past 100 now.
Right.
So the fact that you have over 200 for a ranking event, and then there's also like all the old games got like maxed out capped as well.
Yeah.
And then all the other entrants are like over 100. Like, bro, there's mad people here playing games in New York City, right? And even if you're not from New York, they're coming up from New Jersey. You could take the train from New Jersey, Connecticut, like Philadelphia. So the fact that like, Northeast in general doesn't get like that much love when it comes to premier status usually, it's kind of sad because they deserve it.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so listen, I got so much to talk to you about, so I'm going to move on to something else real quick. There's a lot of games happening here, a lot of old school games. And when I asked you if you wanted to do an interview, so there are a couple of things that I feel like since you started doing content and since you became a father, I feel like your demeanor is different. At least when you speak to me, I don't know why, but it feels different, right? But it feels good. Right, and I sense that you understand like my plight as a content creator and like all that stuff. So you were like, "Yeah, I'll do it, no problem." And I was like, "Cool. That sounds amazing. When are you free?" And I maybe we'll put it up on screen. We'll figure that out in editing. But you sent me your schedule. And the schedule is in Evernote, and it's like every single day has like 10 games. I'm like, what the? And I responded to you, and I was like, I'm gonna have to sit down and like do some maths like on this and figure out exactly when you're free. And then like amazingly, you came to me and said, I'm free at this point, which thank you for doing that, which is right now. What are you playing?
I mean, Street Fighter 5, Samurai Showdown, Street Fighter 2, Marvel 2, CVS 2, Third Strike, Vampire Saviors, and then
what makes you play all those games? Because it's definitely not the money, for sure.
It's all because I grew up on those games, like nostalgia feeling.
Yeah,
I love playing those games.
You do
growing up, like even when I like see them and like if there's not in the tournament, but they have just a cab.
Yeah.
Like even when we walk outside, like there was a Rumblefish 2 cab. I don't know if you guys know what Rumblefish 2 is, but it's like it's a really like weird. It's a really bad fighting game that not many people in America bought, but it was in Japan, and I got really good at it, and I told Henry Sen, who used to like make all the calls in China Fair to get the game. So he actually got the game, and I went so hard on it. And there was people playing, and I definitely went on the cab and just bust them up real quick. Yeah, no one was trying to see my Mito, but I mean, it was really fun. I like seeing those random games of like people playing. I'm gonna show them what's up.
Yeah. So what are you doing well at this weekend so far?
So yesterday I won CVS 2. I got second in Street Fighter ST, and then I got third. And I got third in Marvel 2.
You got third in Marvel 2? What's going on, Justin?
Listen, sometimes you can't block when it's like 2 a.m.
That's right. The tournament started at midnight, right?
Yeah, the tournament started at midnight. The top 8 started at midnight, and then Magneto's kind of fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the master of magnetism. Sometimes you just get opened up real quick.
Alright. Well, talking about Marvel 2, recently Yipes had, I would say recently, it was in December 30th, I think. Basically, Yipes did that big stream.
Yeah.
And, it was wild, and everyone tuned in, and like the pot went up, and then there was talk afterwards of Summit.
Yeah, the Summit.
Summit, it did a poll, and I think Marvel 2 was like the winner of the poll.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do anything with that information, or if they, like a week later they went, oh, that was just a thing, but if there was a Summit with Marvel 2, would you compete? Would you commentate? Surely you'd like to be involved in some way, or?
I would probably do both. I mean, I like commentating in general. Like, a lot of people tell me they like my commentary, so...
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, actually.
And I find it fun. So I would probably do both. Like, there'll probably be, like, matches where I could just commentate, and then there'll be times where I'll have to play, and I'll just play. Because Marvel 2 is one of those games where I just like playing in general, even if I'm rusty or haven't played it in years, I'm gonna sit down and play it. You know, even if I like get my ass beat, like eventually the muscle memory and the speed of my fingers will come back, and then the tides will turn.
The tides will turn. So, would you? I mean, hopefully, if that happens, I would hope that it would have like the 3 Marvel 2 gods, which you know, you, Yipes, and Sanford. It would be interesting. I don't know who else you would like to see there.
There's actually really good players. Like
right now?
Yeah. Chaos is probably the best Marvel 2 player at the moment.
Okay.
So he would probably be like a 4th pick. I would like to see Duck-Do. He's the only other guy that won EVO 2 times over once.
Okay.
So he's like the original. He was the first winner of B4, like for Marvel 2.
Okay.
And then I would love to see Golden Boy, like Neo.
Yes.
Because there's rivalry between Smooth Viper here.
Right.
Because when Smooth Viper won, you know, he called out Neo.
He just, yeah.
So I would love those two.
Smooth Viper won the tournament at Yipes.
Yeah. And then, you know, you could probably YouTube the call out, the pop off. And then, you know, some words were exchanged. And I would like to see those two as well, because that's a good rivalry.
Yeah, it's interesting because that was definitely an event which was a community event in the sense that like no brands are going to get involved in what was going on there
because it was very raw.
Because it was raw, and that's sort of like the catch-22 really with the FGC. It always has been, which is like everyone loves that rawness, that craziness, but there's not a brand that's going to touch it. And if you want to make money in the long run, like you got to appeal to brands, and so change. That is a whole other conversation. Anyway, let's talk about commentary. I think you were on E-League was when...
that was like last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
I mean, analyst.
In your life, that was a long time ago. In my life, not a lot happened, so it seems fairly recent. But you were an analyst, and there was a conversation at the time about how brilliant you were. And I remember thinking, like, damn, he could do everything. Like, how do you feel about commentary and all that sort of stuff? I mean, you must get offers, right, to go do that stuff. Like,
I get offers all the time to do commentary. I would say the only time I couldn't do commentary is during CPT, because if I'm a player, I can't be a commentator. That's kind of like the rule, right?
Right.
But then, like when I get commentary gigs for like random events that they do Street Fighter 5 tournaments, like the U.S. Army, they're doing Street Fighter 5 tournaments for the Army. People that are veterans and like served for the military, they get to compete and, you know, have their own glory. Yeah. So I commentated that. I was in Augusta, Georgia, like a month ago doing that. It's really cool. And what I really like, I guess, is because when I'm watching streams, I actually like talk to myself while like watching, because I'm like, why would he do that? Like some stuff like that. I'm like, and then I'll say like, oh, I think like this is probably gonna happen or something like that, right? So it's kind of like I watch so much. Like I'm a super stream monster when it comes to tournaments. I like watching locals all the time. Majors, I'm always watching it on my phone, and then I could just tell what's gonna happen in the match, or what they can improve on, or like what they missed. So stuff like that's, I guess that's why I get a lot of analyst roles in general. And I mean, I like to do more. I mean, if they want me to do more, then on a higher scale, because I was on ESPN for the collegiate tournament to host for the collegiate Street Fighter 5 tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where NJIT won. So I was like giving my predictions and like, what do the other teams need to do to make sure like NJIT didn't win. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and when you were doing it, I remember it being like, it wasn't just like, you know, a top player who's making a lot of assumptions about. You seem to have a good grasp of your audience, so you seem to have a good grasp of the fact that potentially some of the people watching don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say, yeah, man, like you gotta watch out for Akuma because his crouch fears is +3 and stuff like that. I'm not gonna draw out random numbers or hitboxes and hurt boxes. I want to make it as simple as possible so people that are just tuning in for the first time can understand what's going on. Because once you put like these mathematical equations in people's head, like, oh, what +3, -5, +7, this ultra, this super is like 8-frame startup, people are gonna be like, huh, you know? So you don't. I tend to not go to that. unless it's like actually necessary, like of a specific situation.
Yes. Because you know, sometimes you need to be able to go there just to, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense to people. Like it's like, okay, like, I'm gonna break it down. Talking of people and casuals, and you know, I guess this is my segue into EVO. I wanted to ask if you thought about like the announcements, because that's become like like a thing now. Like every year it's like with the EVO announcements, you know. So you got any thoughts about like characters, games? Like it doesn't have to be Street Fighter. It could be Street Fighter. It can be anything.
Well, I noticed that at E3 there was like no fighting game announcements at all.
Right.
So I'm assuming that it's all going to be announced at EVO.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It really
It's
is
really
becoming
cool,
a thing.
right? Yeah.
It really is becoming a thing.
So I do believe that like there'll probably be like a Tekken DLC character, Street Fighter 5 like season 4.5 updates with some characters, probably some new fighting games in general, maybe a new Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Right, and then probably more Granblue characters, probably more.
That's the one I wanted to ask you about, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, probably more Mortal Kombat characters, like maybe more DLC, like Terminator, for example.
Yeah.
So I do think like literally there's going to be so much fighting game announcements in terms of DLC and new games at EVO. Like I just want to see it, like because I was so disappointed. Like I loved E3 in terms of like, you know, they had the Final Fantasy 7 remake, all these like remake or like Final Fantasy 8 like remaster, all these different collections were awesome. But I'm like, but there was no fighting games. I was just so sad at that because I personally just love fighting games. You could just make me play any random fighting game and I'll find a way to enjoy it. That's just how I am, because I grew up in the arcade, and when you go to the arcade, there's literally different fighting games everywhere, and that's kind of how I got into playing multiple fighting games. And yeah, I mean, 2 weeks can't come soon enough.
Yeah, E3 is an interesting beast right now. You know, PlayStation pulled out, and it seems like more and more it's becoming more like a Comic-Con. You know, like it's less media focused, and people are doing announcements weeks before because it gives them breathing space to do it and all that sort of stuff. But for fighting games, it seems like that, you know, it almost feels like for the casual player, not gonna lie, top 8s are great. It's great watching people play, but like everyone's kind of like, where's that announcement? Where's that announcement? Where's that announcement?
I mean, look
you
at
know?
Capcom Cup with the leak. For the Kage leak?
Dude.
People wasn't watching top 8.
Dude, I was in the front row, and I was sitting next to a Kiki, who is Sako's wife, and she was like, look at this. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that real?
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there on our phones like, bruh. And then meanwhile, Gashkin's up there doing his thing.
Yeah.
And then poor old Ono comes on stage and is just like,
are you ready?
Well, he actually said at one point, he said, I guess you've seen it. Like, he actually said that. And it, like, I almost teared up. I was like, poor dude. Like that sucked.
Yeah.
But you know,
no one was watching. Literally everyone was like, all right.
Because they could play. They could literally play Kage.
Yeah. But it's also because the like, what are my buffs? What are my nerfs? I need to test things out.
Ah, yes, that too.
Yeah, so people really wasn't paying attention to just.
Yeah, I saw some tweets of people sort of saying, "Is anyone actually still watching Capcom Cup?"
Yeah.
That was messed up, but it was what it was. Granblue Fantasy Versus. I don't know how much you've played it, how much you've tested. If I'm assuming someone like you gets the opportunity to sort of like kind of test games and give some feedback and stuff like that. I don't know.
So I never tested it, but I played the beta.
I didn't mean like that one specifically.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I'm just saying in general. Like for Granblue, I never had a chance to play until the beta. So the first time I played it was when everyone had the closed beta codes.
Yeah.
But they gave me a crap ton of codes to give out because they want me to just be
be
an influencer, right?
You are an influencer.
Yeah. So
you've been
then,
an influencer for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Or, you know. Oh.
But I had so much fun playing it. There was only 5 characters during the time.
Oh, was there?
I think Gran, Charlotta, Catalina, Fairy, and Lancelot. Yeah, 5.
Oh, okay.
So it was only 5 characters.
Yeah.
And I had such a blast playing Gran and Lancelot. Those two were like my favorite characters playing in the beta.
I also played it, and it was just something about it. I don't know what it was. It just felt like fun. And a lot of people said it's the Street Fighter, the Arc is Street Fighter. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe I felt just at home playing
Well,
it.
it wasn't like an anime game where it's like, oh my god, the execution is so crazy.
Yeah, or there's like weird moves where you just don't understand the
Yeah.
hitboxes. You know, like, because that's the thing about anime games to me, which is, it takes a little while to wrap your head around, is somebody's going to do a weird move which isn't reminiscent of a real fight. So, for instance, Tekken is an interesting game, you know, like, it's just two people punching each other. Right,
Yeah.
like it looks like a fight.
Yeah.
You know, Street Fighter we grew up on. It has kicks and punches and fireballs,
moves, yeah.
right? But then the anime, it's like
Flying everywhere.
yeah.
All dramatic.
Like some magic spell, which is
Yeah.
gonna hit you from behind your head, and I'm over here, and you're like,
A clone comes out from the shadows and sewers. Dragons come out from the sky.
yeah. But Granblue is pretty straightforward, it seems. Some people have started to already say, I think it might be too simple.
Well, they have a simple mode where you have like 1-button specials for people that don't want to do actual motions.
I didn't even know that.
But there's a cooldown for those people that use the simple moves.
Oh, there is?
There's a cooldown. There's a cooldown.
That's
meter.
well thought
It's
out.
kind of like how Rising Thunder was, where there's a cooldown to special moves. And then you can actually, if you perform the special move like an actual quarter circle forward for Hadouken, for some characters, there's no cooldown. Like it just instantly recovers right away.
Okay.
So you have like stuff. It's like kind of like auto combo in the current anime games in Dragon Ball. You just do auto combo to get like your 7-hit combo because you want people to feel good about themselves to actually perform these moves. Because I do think fighting games in general are very discouraging. Because when you know like when you know you suck, you actually like, damn, I do suck. Like I don't see any improvement. I'm just mashing away, and I can't even get this Hadouken to come out. I can't even get my special moves to come out of a character. I can't do a low forward fireball. Right? People naturally is like it takes them a long time to able to pull off stuff like that. So that's why having like these auto combos and like simple special moves, it makes people feel good. That's why Smash Brothers does so well, because the fact that you just have to hit like what, up B to do Shoryuken, or like using Pikachu's Thunder attack, that's kind of good.
Well, I think the thing that Smash remembers is that they're trying to have fun first and foremost, and sometimes with fighting games that gets forgotten by the players and by the developers. Is this idea that this is a game.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like we just talked about this. That's how we started talking about your love for games and why you love them, and why you play Rumblefish.
Rumblefish 2 is good.
Rumblefish 2. What's Rumblefish 1 like?
I never played Rumblefish 1. The first time I saw it was Rumblefish 2.
It's so fake. You never played Rumblefish 1?
I mean,
what's wrong with you?
I wasn't in Japan this time. Japan got all the crazy random games.
I bet, yeah. I want to go there at some point and definitely go check out those arcades. All right, so let's move on. I want to ask you about a tweet you put out recently, because I think it's interesting. So there was a tweet recently, I mean, a million tweets, but there was a tweet recently where it said, can you sort of like name the people who taught you?
Yeah.
Right? And I saw that tweet from you, and I was like, who are these people? And I knew two of them.
Yeah.
Right? Can you just run that down, the 4 people? I think
so
it was 4 people you
4
named.
people.
And can you tell me what they taught you?
So the 4 people was Eddie Lee.
That obviously I know.
Yeah. Henry Sen.
Yeah, obviously I know.
Norman Bergs.
Don't know.
He went as Harlem Hero, and John Gordon as Flash G.
Flash G, okay.
So I would say when I was growing up in arcades, Norman, he was like the token man. Like legit a token man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like a legit, like you give him $1, he'll give you 4 tokens.
Yeah.
Right? So he saw me and I'm just playing, and he was always trying to like teach me how to actually do these moves, because I didn't know how to do special moves back in the day. So he taught me how to flash kick, and he'll tell you that he'll make fun of me because I couldn't do flash kick for the life of me. Like I'll get down and I'll count 1, 2, and then I'll get up kick instead of flash kick. Like I'll just jump up and neutral jump and do a light kick. So
see, guys, this is the thing, right? That like if anybody here is watching and struggling a little bit with fighting games, this is it right here. You're looking at like a player who is one of the best that's ever been, right? I don't mean to embarrass you, but like, at some point, he couldn't do a flash kick.
I couldn't do a flash
And
kick.
I can tell you right now, I'm garbage, but I could do flash kicks, like, pretty early on.
Yeah.
So maybe makes me slightly better than you. I don't
Probably.
know. But like
It took me a while.
That
It definitely took me a while to flash kick. Like, so I'm just like, man, I couldn't believe I could do flash kick. Like, because anytime if you're a beginner, the first time you play a fighting game, you're gonna do this.
yes,
And
man.
I definitely did that growing up.
Well,
for sure.
Core Gaming, we should talk about that. That's another thing we should talk about. Core Gaming's video about, I think has that's the insight.
Yeah.
The insight, his most recent video, Core Gaming, I talk about it all the time. Gerald's video, which I think is a really good primer for fighting games, because it actually tells you, it actually explains to you why you're gonna lose a lot to
Yeah.
begin with. But the insight is that if you're looking at something which is a fight, presumably if I press the button as fast as I possibly can,
You're gonna win.
yeah, like if you and me are here and I'm doing this,
It must
in
be-
real life, surely I'm gonna hit you more than you're gonna hit me.
It must have been the toy sock and robots, because you actually have to go ham.
right, yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
Hungry Hippo as
Yeah,
well.
Hungry Hippos. I had a money match with 3 people with Hungry Hippos like a long time ago.
Listen, that like we'll have a whole interview on the Hungry
Yeah.
Hippo money match, because that sounds wonderful. But
yeah,
let's go back. Let's go back to what you were saying. So
But yeah, Norman Bergs taught me like how to like calm down and like actually take my time and learn these special moves to like implement them in my game. So he was like the first person that really came up to me and started talking to me, because I was very like socially awkward, very quiet. You know, I didn't have any like friends in school. Like I'm very social now versus back in the day. And he was the first one that reached out to me, because like I'll go to the arcade at 10 a.m. when nobody's there, so I could play by myself.
yes,
Because there was no
Yeah.
consoles back in the day, and he, you know, opened the shop, so there's no one in the arcade, so he'll watch me, and then he's like teaching me.
cool.
Yeah,
What a cool guy.
Yeah, he actually he's not part of FGC like that, but he knows FGC. He was here yesterday, so it's pretty cool to see him.
He was?
He's from
That's
New York.
great.
He still live in New York. And then Flash G John Gordon. What was really cool about him is that he was the one that really believed in my skills.
Okay.
So he would actually convince me to go to these out of state tournaments like in Philadelphia, Chicago, final round, and we would take, and you know the struggle was real back in the day, so we would take these Greyhounds
Yeah.
for like 16-hour like bus rides, you know, and
Yeah.
because I couldn't take a flight,
Yeah.
you know, I was too young,
Yeah.
and then he would help me, he would literally take the bus with me to
Yeah.
these tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, cheer me on, saying like, you got this. So he was a really huge motivator of me just, you know, having confidence in myself to play in these tournaments. And, you know, leaving my arcade to
Yeah.
go compete with other people around like the United States.
You legit have the old man story. So if somebody's like complaining about a delay on a plane, you can be the legit old man meme where you're like, back in my day,
Yeah, for sure.
we traveled 16 hours on a Greyhound. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. So there was him,
Yeah.
and
then Henry Sen.
Then there was
so
Henry.
Henry Sen, he always pushes me to be my best.
What was his role at Chinatown Fair?
He was a technician.
He was the
So
technician.
he'll fix the broken joysticks, broken buttons.
Did he ever own Chinatown Fair?
No, he was really good friends with the owner Sam.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of like, they were like God family.
Okay.
So Sam always trusted him with everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So he was the technician. All right.
So then Henry, anytime we're playing like a game, he'll always tell me like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So like he'll even like, this is definitely like privilege right here, but like when our Chinatown Fair closes at like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Right, he would close the arcade, kick everybody out, and it will only be us two left in the arcade just playing until 6 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, so he really helped me grind. He was like my training partner growing up.
Oh wow.
So like not that many people can like sit there and play 100 games with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like lame as shit. Eventually you're gonna get bored or get frustrated.
Right,
But he will
right.
play 100 games with me on that level
Right.
because he enjoys that too.
And he was a competitive player back then.
Yeah, he got top 8 at Street Fighter 4.
Right.
Yeah,
he did in
Super.
2010.
He got the golden
Yeah.
stick.
He got the golden stick.
That's why he's a golden sun, right?
Yeah.
And then so he was really huge. Just me growing up, becoming like the fighting game player I am. And then Eddie Lee, right? There's no Twitter handle. You can't find him.
No.
He's definitely like some
Yeah.
like Akuma Shin boss.
Yeah.
Comes out of nowhere, raging demon somebody.
Yeah.
The reason why he was so important to my gaming career because he was the best. Like I could never beat him. Like I probably spent like $50 trying to beat him one day.
In which games?
Marvel's Capcom 1.
Marvel's
and I
Capcom
couldn't
1.
beat him.
Yeah.
And then he was a multi-fighting game player. He played like Third Strike, Capcom vs SK1, ST, all these games, right? And he always gave me such a huge problem. He usually beats me back in the day, like literally beats me. So he was kind of
How?
like,
Did he outlane you? Or
oh
did
yeah, he outlaned me.
So so his style was something that you
Yeah, I took from him.
You took from him,
Yeah,
okay.
my lame style is because of Eddie Lee.
Eddie Lee.
Yeah.
All right.
And then because of him, he was just like this person that I want to like surpass.
Yeah.
So I really worked really hard to try to like surpass his level and be better than him. So he was kind of like that monument. I'm just looking up and I'm like, eventually I'll get up there.
Yeah, so you had all these people that had various parts in how you progressed. That's really interesting, actually. Did you ever get bored? Like, has there ever been a time, or is there ever a time, where you're just like, you know what? I'm so bored of fighting games. Or like, this year I'm so bored of fighting games. Or like...
I would say maybe when I was like 17, 18.
There was a period?
Yeah, because like it's one of those things where like I went to arcade. I used to went to the arcade every day, but now like when I was like 17, 18, I went only like Fridays.
Okay.
Right, I still play, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't play as much. But that's just because like I'm like 17, 18, so I want to do what 17, 18-year-olds do.
Oh, you wanted to do other things.
Yeah, like-
so other things were sort of like taking you away from the fighting games.
Yeah, but then eventually, I just came back because it became like I would say around 2006 was
Yeah.
when I took it like way more serious now.
Because that late?
Yeah, well,
Huh.
because I was always going to EVO, but I never like practiced anymore. So I would still win, but it wouldn't be like as dominant.
Yeah.
But 2006 came and EVO was sponsored by Toyota at that time.
Right, and they had
Toyota
Mario Kart.
No, they had Mario Kart. Right?
Yeah.
And then they had the pop bonus where like first place gets $5,000. And I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money, right, for a 17, 18-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Especially during that time frame.
Yeah.
So that's when I started going hard again because I wanted to win the $5,000.
Right. Okay, so that's when you got back into it, and then of course 2008, I guess Street Fighter 4. I don't even know. I'm not even sure when it was first announced, but there was a side tournament in
At EVO,
2008.
2008, yeah.
And then there was 2009. Your match with Daigo in 2009 is one of my favorite. To me, it has so much meaning to me because when you first get into something, because that was when I started to get into the FGC, and then I saw 2009 streamed, and that had a huge impact on me. Watching you play Daigo in that final, even though Daigo eventually won it, when you switched to Boxer, and I think Noel Brown was in the crowd doing this, and
Yeah.
like, there are so many.
He did this.
There are so many iconic moments for me, like having watched that match. Like I don't know where that match ranks for you in terms of, because of course you've had so many amazing matches, but that match for me was just so special. I think you started with Abel.
Yeah.
Like I'm a total nerd for that match. like you started with Abel, and then you may have switched to somebody else, and then I think you ended up with Boxer because
It was Abel then Balrog.
it was just the two.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I don't think the Japanese had much experience against Balrog, and what was clear in that match was that Daigo obviously could play Ryu, but it wasn't clear that he could necessarily play more than one character. But it was very clear that you could play a lot of characters at a very high level, and you really took it to him with Boxer. So this is just my opportunity to say thank you, because that match meant a lot to me.
It was a great match.
It was a great match.
I'm actually very sad because there was a compilation of like moments for that one, but from like Potato Head. I don't know if you know Potato Head. He kind of works with like Level Up.
Oh, okay.
And he filmed like this thing where like an actual like moments video, like
from EVO.
Yeah, like
EVO?
Esteban.
Yeah,
does like
yeah,
the moments. So
yeah,
he did
yeah.
that, but then he took it down and deleted it. I'm like, wow, that was such a great video. It was you could feel the feels for sure. But he took it down. I was really sad about it, and it shows me looking around, and you could see in the video.
You see no
you
round.
saw no one
Yeah,
doing this.
I was always amazed that they caught that.
Yeah.
That they caught that on video, because he did that, and I remember thinking, I don't know much about Noel Brown, but like the one thing that I picked up from videos that I've seen in the past is that he is usually the guy that seems to be able to he seems to be trusted by a number of you in regards to like what he's seeing going on. You know.
Well, he's like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And we play like fighting games together like all the time. So even if like I play this, he'll want to like learn, and I'll sit down and teach him and stuff like that. So he considers me as like his teacher, because he literally was really bad at fighting games, like completely scrub, like super mashing and stuff like that. And he went from super mashing into like making top 8 at EVO in Marvel's Capcom 3.
So well, that's pretty wild.
So
yeah,
I'm just like,
wild.
I was very happy because I'm like, damn, like me playing with him, teaching him, like it wasn't gone to waste.
Right.
Like it really showed that he became a really good fighting game player that understands fighting games in general, which is just completely awesome.
So do you mind if we just go into, because I've nearly run out of questions, and I actually really, while you're here, wouldn't mind talking a little bit more about that match, because it was a very, very special match for me. And if you haven't seen it, I think you guys, it's 10-year anniversary actually. Thinking about it, never thought about it. 10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary.
You should definitely go watch that match. It's super, super hype for so many reasons, and for the nostalgia for me is very special. Even though I was just watching it on stream, and the atmosphere in the room, you know, it was in the ballrooms and all that sort of stuff, and like people were all crowded up front and all that. And you catch Noel Brown doing that. When you knew that you were in the grand final with Daigo, you picked Abel. What was going on? Like, what with that was obviously, you know, you played Rufus. Were you playing Rufus at the time?
Rufus, yeah.
You were playing Rufus, but you picked Abel. Yeah, I think you had already maybe lost to him.
I lost in the winter semis
with
Abel.
With Abel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much the reason why I didn't pick Rufus, because he demolished my Rufus at the GameStop.
Yes, I remember that. I remember.
Like, demolished.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like every time I did like a light
you can look that up too.
Yeah, every time I did light dive kick, he shoryuken me, and I'm like,
yeah.
Bro, his reactions are so crazy. It's great.
Was it an option select? Or
no, he just reacted.
Okay.
Right? Daigo has good reactions.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then so at EVO, I'm like, I'm gonna pick Abel, and I was doing really good with Abel. But since plinking did not existed yet, it was all manual time. So doing step kick and the stand fierce, it was a manual time, and I kept missing it. And he kept like blocking after getting hit by step kick or doing a shoryuken. So it really like, I'm like, man, I could definitely get him with Abel if I just had the combos. I just tried him again. But then the first game in the grand finals, I definitely got washed. So So now I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, because I wanted to pick Balrog the first time.
You did?
In winter semis.
You
but
did.
I was training with like other players from New York, like Chris Hugh, and I was playing with Laugh too as well, right? And I was beating them in the Ryu versus Balrog, and they're telling me, don't pick Balrog against Daigo. He knows the matchup. Like they're telling me to like, and I'm like, damn, yeah, I guess I won't pick Balrog, right? So that's what I'm just thinking in my head. And now I'm like, oh, I lost first game. It's about to be a 3-0 wash. Yeah. So then, that's when Noel, I see Noel stand up and he does this, the boxing gloves. And I was like, well, I guess I have no other choice. So let me try it out. And then,
why did he do that?
Because he saw that I was just confused on what to do. He saw that like, man, like my Abel like got completely destroyed the first game.
And he just felt confident that your Balrog could do it.
Yeah.
And it almost did, right?
It almost did. We got to the final round. So it was really close. But things could have been different if I didn't listen to like Chris Hugh or Laugh at that time. But I mean, ultimately in the end, it became a really good set.
Yeah, that was great.
I was actually pretty sad. Like I was actually very sad. And then Seth Killian, Seth Killian actually was like, that could have went either way. And I know you're sad.
I feel the same way.
But then he gave me like a poster like this, like a banner.
Oh, he did?
Of Rufus.
Oh, he did.
It's like an official Capcom product. So he just gave it to me. So I still have it. I still have it in my house. So it's pretty nice.
Isn't that great? Yeah. Like it's funny what the little things like that.
I mean, that stuff makes me happy because
you're a fanboy.
I'm a collector.
Yeah. Me too.
Right?
Me too,
so I love collecting stuff all the time. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I want it. Like for sure, give it to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. All right, I'm glad. I was really interested to get the insight on that. 2 years later, I was at EVO because of that moment, which is bizarrely I met Gutex was the first person I met, which is really weird. Because at that time, like they didn't have the arena, so for newbies, well, sorry, that's the wrong term, but like for anyone who doesn't know, like back then, for sure the ballroom was a free-for-all. Like I would have to sit at the beginning. I only went there for Street Fighter, but I would have to sit there and watch Smash
all the other
and all that
games.
stuff from like 8 a.m. onwards until like finally 8 p.m. like they would play Street Fighter and I'd be at the front, you know. But you know, people would just rush to the front and sit on the ground, and it would always be like, "There's a fire safety issue. Everybody get out of the way." And
people are like, nah.
Nah, we got money matches.
People rush up the stage. People rush up a stage when someone wins too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't happen anymore. Well, it sort of does. The spirit of Marvel, I guess. But there's always that. All right, so we're gonna close out. I think I wanted to ask you a few things. Let's talk anime, because I became an anime fan a little late in life. You know, I always watched like some of the classics. You know, like when I was a kid, I saw Akira, however you pronounce it, and I had this big poster in my house which has been there for years. It's right behind my streaming setup. You know, like there are certain anime which I even grew up with this thing called Ulysses 31, which nobody knows is a French-Japanese anime, and I was always like, that's my favorite cartoon, like as a kid. And then years later I found out it was anime, so I was like, wow, that's wild. But anime, like you tend to keep up with it season by season. Like how you feeling about like maybe this season?
I love anime. I mean, this season's pretty good. Like they have so Black Clover. It's pretty good. It's like a magic anime.
That's a continuation, right?
Continuation.
Yeah.
Ace of Diamond, another continuation, is a baseball anime. Definitely must watch.
I stopped watching that. Is that good?
It's so good.
It is? All right.
The character development in sports animes are like one of the best of all time.
Okay.
Because they, you know, they are whack and they become godlike and it gets so intense. Like anime, they do such a good job in sports animes to make things super intense.
Yeah.
So I like that. Is it wrong to pick up girls in your dungeon? Season 2 came out.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm watching that. Fire Force is new.
That's new. Yeah. I've been told that's good.
Yeah, it's okay. I would say it's okay right now, but like the animation is really crisp.
Okay.
What I really do like is Dr. Stone. Did you watch?
I watched the first episode.
That it's pretty interesting.
I watched the first episode, and the ending, I was like, interesting, because they found a way
to cure.
Yeah. So I haven't got past that yet, though.
Yeah, so it's really nice. And then like I watched 2 episodes already, and like the people that they focus on are just great.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say those are the only ones that I'm currently watching this season.
Okay.
Because like a lot of times I'm just like, yeah, I can't afford to watch too many shows or anything because it takes too long.
It does.
Because if you watch like 10 animes per season, like, you know, if you think about it, that's what, like 3-6. That's like over 3 hours.
For me, I'm catching up on a lot of stuff because this year, ever since Darling in the Franxx, which I know a whole bunch of people hate that.
I love that.
I love that anime. But a lot of people hate it and they get upset when I mention it, and I'm just like, shut up.
It's so good.
I think it's dope as hell. And Ava, you know, I also like as well. I caught up on that before it came onto the Netflix.
Yeah.
I know it has some changes, but
I haven't watched the Netflix one yet. I'm just kind of scared.
I've watched it up to the end, and then I'm like, I'm not ready. I can't. I'm not ready to go through this again. I can't do it. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away, but I would suggest definitely watching it if you've never seen Ava. It's an incredible piece of art. But anime is just so much. Like sometimes I'll get bored and I'll just be like, looking for some inspiration, like what to watch, and it's sort of like what we were talking about before we turned on the camera, which is sometimes when you have too much choice, you pick nothing. And with anime, it's sort of sometimes it gets like that with me because I'll put a tweet out like, "Hey, what should I watch?" And people will just be like, "Oh, I watch this," because anime is like, it reminds me of the FGC.
Yeah.
Right? Because the anime community is kind of like this. They're kind of like FGC. They're kind of like, come on, you'll love it. It's brilliant. You're one of us. It's fantastic. And then once you get in, it's like there are these subcultures, and they're like, well, I'm sorry, you like what? or you don't love this? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm scared to even say things that I don't like with anime because people take that shit very personally.
They do. They definitely do. But I would say anime also is a motivation for me to work harder.
Yeah.
Because there will be times where I'm like, you watch like a really like inspiring episode where
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
you know, like the main character does something like so sick, or there was a really sick scene.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I actually rewatch stuff like that, little clips like that.
Yeah.
To kind of like put me in the mood, like
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, to put me in like this mood where I'm like, okay, this is so inspiring. I need to go work right now instead of me just chilling.
No, I agree. One of the things that got me into anime, so funnily enough, like Darling in the Franxx and of all things, Kakegurui.
The gambling anime?
Yeah, got me into it. I was just
Did you watch season 2?
Yeah.
That was whack.
I heard you say that, but I didn't have major expectations for it, so I was just like.
Season 1 was way better.
No, I'm not going to argue with that, but I had fun. I thought season 2 was fun. Like if you put up, if you just want fun, I'm fine with season 2.
I don't know that.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right now. Like
that tower. I don't want. I'm gonna just say that tower. That tower was trash.
I know. Like I know that. It's not that I don't know that.
Yeah.
It's just like for me, it's so over the top. Like if you accept it as over the top, because for me, like getting into anime was always very hard because there are usually premises that you have to accept and just go, all right, I accept this premise. And then you get onto some pretty amazing storytelling, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, I'll give you an example, and this is a really simple premise to take on board, but I just couldn't accept it. It was Death Note. I kept trying to get into it, and I was like, what is this fucking stupid book? It doesn't make any sense. And it pissed me off because every episode I felt like the writer was like, had a new rule because it was like filling in a plot hole.
Yeah.
And I realized that was probably true. Like the whole thing you go through, there's a new rule. You're like, well, yeah, but the Death Note can't do that. And then there's like the rule.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, man. But like ultimately you get in Death Note, you get to a point, it might be episode 8, I can't remember exactly, but
the interactions
and then the cat and mouse and like all that sort of stuff, right? And you're like, oh, this is what it's about. This is amazing. And so now with anime, there's a lot of anime which start off with a premise where you just go, this is the dumbest premise I've ever heard in my life. You know, like I actually didn't end up watching it, but I watched the first 2 episodes, which was like my roommate is a cat or something.
I definitely saw first episode. I said, no, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching it.
Right, but like one of my animes that I really enjoyed was Bunny Girl Senpai, but the whole name is actually kind of just ridiculous, right? Like, and often it's translated names that they just sound silly.
That's the one with Mai?
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah,
that one's
amazing.
so good.
Yeah, because it's amazing. But I think what draws me to anime, and you tell me whether you feel the same way or differently. What draws me to anime a lot of the time, because I often used to think, why do people just watch anime? Because a lot of people just watch anime. I'm like, why aren't you watching Netflix as well? And why aren't you watching everything? And one of the things about anime is Eastern story. It's what I think of as Eastern storytelling, right? Which seems to have like a bit of a different slant to it. Like it tends to shy away from not shy away, but it's not Hollywood. So Hollywood, it's like everyone has the fantasy ending, right? Everything ends up perfect. Whereas anime, it's like a lot of the time, if you find the right anime, obviously there's different types of anime, but like if you find the right anime for you, I think they can take on some very difficult subject matter. They can take on some real relationships, and you look at it and you go, okay, no, it's not going to end happy for everyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't end happy for anyone.
It's because there's a lot of characters, right?
But also, like, it's not black and white. Like Game of Thrones was not black and white, right? So Game of Thrones is a good example of like characters who weren't black and white. You saw like the story arc of like Jaime, right? You know, someone who was a villain, and then or you thought he was a villain, and then you saw all these redeeming things happen, and then season 8 fucked it all up. But but like with anime, like the characters are very human. There's no thought police in anime. There's no like it's like anime teaches you. Sorry, I'm having a little rant about anime, but anime sort of teaches you a little bit that it's okay to be a certain way. It's okay to not fit in. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be awkward. It's okay to be this, that, and the other. But then it will sort of like, the story will move on, and it will be like, this can change. Things can change. Life can change. You can try. You can be this. You can be that.
You got this whole Confucius thing going on with this anime thing. And my reason why I watch anime over shows is because anime is only 20 minutes long.
Alright, fine. Done. Conversation's
That's
done.
literally-
I've been overthinking it.
That's the only reason why I watch anime is because it's only 20 minutes long versus like an hour show or an hour and a half show. Because I'm like, oh my god, this is too long. I don't think I could survive this. Because there's going to be a lot of boring points in like an hour, right? But an anime, 20 minutes, that's so short. It's so fast. Like, when you get to the halfway mark, I'm like, yes, already. But
anime, I tell you what I find myself doing in anime is I find myself checking the clock every 5 minutes, every like minute. But if nothing's happening, if it's like a filler episode, I'm like...
I mean, I don't watch filler episodes. I just skip that. Because I read the manga
but sometimes
as well.
you don't. Okay.
So I know where things are, but I just want to see the animations come to life because the manga is great for stories, but when you see like this particular fight happen or whatever, but you like it just looks so badass in the actual comic strips, but so you're like, I wonder what's gonna look like when it comes to animation. You know, so Black Clover is like a perfect example. Like their fights right now are just mesmerizing. They're so insane, so good. You should watch Black Clover. All you have to do is just get used to Asta just yelling all the time, and once you get used to him just yelling, you'll be fine.
Get used to the yelling? Alright, got it. Alright, we're probably going to close out. I wanted to ask you, did you manage to find a good Chinese restaurant? Because you came back and you were complaining that all the Chinese restaurants you knew had moved out of Chinatown.
Well, it's not that. All the good Chinese restaurants that I recommend are still there.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah. It's just that Chinatown in general, just all I see opening up are like random dessert spots, bubble tea spots.
Oh, yes.
So Flushing actually is the new Chinatown.
Yeah.
Flushing has all the new restaurants.
Did you go?
I went to Flushing. Yeah, it's great. But my favorite restaurant in all time is called New Green Bow in Chinatown, Manhattan. It's on Bayard Street.
Okay.
It's the best Chinese food. Every time I recommend somebody there, they always tell me, "Oh, this is the best Chinese food I've ever had in my life." It's a Shanghai restaurant.
Yeah.
So most of their dishes are really good. So I would recommend if you're going for the first time, get like the rice cakes. So you get rice cakes plus meat, like pork, beef, chicken, whatever suits your boat, right? You get that. Get like a pork rice cake or beef rice cake or chicken rice cake. You get that, you'll be like, damn, this is too good.
Okay. Alright. That sounds good. I think there was one last thing that I wanted to ask you. Final thing. It's a pretty simple final. Well, no, it's simple or not. But like going forwards, right? So you got content creation. You can do all these different things, right? You got analyst, desk, commentary, content creation on YouTube. Potentially you could stream, although you're a prisoner. I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to be a prisoner.
You don't want to be a prisoner. Like some people don't want to do the streaming thing because that's the way it is. I mean, you got tournaments, you got all this stuff going on, right? Like where's your head at in terms of like your priorities and your goals going forwards as a person, I guess? I know that's a difficult question.
Yeah, I mean, as a person, it's gonna be focused on trying to be the best father as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to spend as much time as I can with just my family. That's why like I try to go to Vancouver all the time. I go to Vancouver all the time. I want to like take over like the roles of like changing diapers, giving her a bath, stuff like that. When I'm like, if I come over, I'm an extra pair of hands, right? So I would say that's kind of like my main goal, and also sharing this experience. Like I personally would say right now, I hate traveling. I've been doing it for like the last couple of years. I've been posting like the end of the year. I post like these are the events I have done in like 2017, 2018, 2019. It's a lot. Like it's a shit ton for no reason. Like it's probably like over 40 plus events a year traveling around the world. It gets, you're eventually going to get bored of it. But I think obviously when Harper becomes like 4 years old, 5 years old, going to Disney World, going to all these different type of resorts, like that's going to bring back my whole like traveling, like, traveling is fun type of thing, because I'm going to do it with like someone that has never experienced before. I want to see the joy in her face. Yeah. Right. So stuff like that is what's really gonna help me move forward. Besides just me constantly just working, because even if I'm not at a tournament, I'm home like working on a video. And if I'm not working on a video, I'm on a call with like potential company or somebody that wants to work with me. If I'm not doing that, I'll be answering emails. If I'm not doing that, then I'll be spending time with my family. If I'm not doing that, then that's when I get to watch a couple anime episodes or so. You know, so it's definitely long. I would say I'm very bad right now. So sorry to all my friends that I don't really talk to them as much as I can, because it's really hard to keep track with my friends, because I have a lot of friends that have like their own problems. They kind of rely on me to give them advice, right? Because I've been here for so long. I've seen so much shit in my day, right? Like travel around the world, understanding how the world thinks, and I'm not able to give them like the best answers. Sometimes I'll read something and I'll give them like a little short, like 2-3 word answer or 1 sentence answer, and then that's kind of not enough sometimes. So I would say that's the one thing that I would say I'm lacking the most at the moment, is showing more appreciation to my friends.
I could see that becoming very difficult. The busier you get, the more people you meet, the more friends you have. There's only so much time you have, and then on top of that, like, you become a father, you have a child. So hopefully those friends can
no, they understand.
They can understand.
Yeah, I just feel bad on my part, because naturally I would say like I'm a nice guy, so I kind of overthink those situations.
I can understand that. I'm a nice guy too. I can understand that. I know where you're coming from. Anyway, listen, it's been a pleasure. Is there anything you want to say to people who your fans, or people who follow you?
I would say just make sure you support my man's right here, because I always watch his videos. You know, the best video is still my favorite one's the Kumawo, the
skits.
The skits are like my favorite skits.
Right.
They're so good. So really appreciate that you guys voted for him to go to EVO for this year. Make sure you guys keep buying these shirts, right? So the whole our Reddit Street Fighter can get funding. But other than that, I mean, keep playing fighting games. Fighting games are fun. Fighting games are great. Go to your locals. Make sure you subscribe to people's YouTube channels and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we did a big advertisement for John, JM Crofts. And he's going to be super hyped to know that you watch his videos.
But they're good.
I want to say thank you
of course, anytime,
so
man.
much for making time for me, and good luck this weekend. Could be the fourth SamSho.
It could be.
We could be looking at the SamSho. Well, let's not jinx it. Let's see what happens. But very excited to see you compete at EVO. Anyway,
I mean, you're gonna be at EVO, so you're gonna be busy. So
yeah, I'm gonna go early, and hopefully, if I can bang out a lot of interviews early-ish, then I mean, I'm definitely not gonna be doing anything on Top 8 day, like other than watching Top 8. I think.
Yeah, I mean, most people now come on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I know.
So
I'm getting in there on Wednesday. So I'm trying to get in there early Wednesday so I can get interviews on Wednesday and on Thursday.
Yeah.
So if I can bang out a lot of interviews early-ish, then I can sort of... Because usually I go to tournaments and I don't get to see anything. I'm just in a room like this, and like out there, you and other people are playing these amazing games, and everyone thinks I'm... Like, not everyone, but the odd troll will be online thinking that I'm on vacation, and and I'm literally just in a room doing this.
The grind is real, man.
I have to like ask players when they come and sit down. I have to be like, what how did you get on? Because I didn't get to watch you, you know, and I'd love nothing more than to be out there just like watching, but that's not how it works. But I like doing this, so that's not I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining how it is, you know. But anyway, thank you so much for the interview.
Of course, anytime.
And we're gonna say goodbye to these guys. See you guys.
Peace.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that interview. I am off to EVO, so expect more interviews to come after EVO. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and watch the interviews. I want to say a big thank you to R Street Fighter and the FGC community for nominating, voting, and continuing to fundraise myself, Jester Power, and Marine to go to EVO. I was blown away. I didn't think that was going to happen at all, but wow, it did. And if you want to support me directly, the two best ways you can do it. You can subscribe to my Twitch channel. That's huge. Or you can become a patron. Again, huge. Those two things. The links are below. On that note, I want to thank my current patrons. You can see them on screen now. I have $1 patrons. You guys are making a huge difference. There could potentially be thousands of you because there are thousands of people who follow me and watch the interviews, and that would really, really be something. I'll give a shout out to my biggest contributors, of course, Nathan Duncan, Terrence Harris, You Ain't Jeff, and Steven Sense. And Twitch subscribers, you get shout outs live on stream, as you know. Now, I will make a video about my future. Gonna make some decisions after EVO, going home to England, talk to my family and my friends. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. See what the universe says, shall we? On that note, I want to say have a fucking great day, evening, whatever you're doing. I was about to say love you lots, but that sounds like the end of a video to a girlfriend who doesn't exist. So you guys are my girlfriend, okay? I'll leave you on that note, I suppose.